In today's video, I'm going to be talking about 10 things that we did not expect when we decided to move into an RV full-time with 4 of our kids. If this is your first time here, welcome. I'm Rachel and I'm married to Matt. We have 5 kids, 4 of them are with us on this trip, and we have been traveling now for 3 months in the lower states. So the first thing that surprised us about moving into this RV and going south was the weather. Our plan was to avoid the Canadian deep freeze, and we did that. They have had some temps of almost minus 50, if you can believe that. But we thought that the southern states, California, Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas would be hot, or at least warm, but we were very surprised to find out that they're not. In fact, the temperatures have been very consistently, I'd say, between about 13 to 23 Celsius, so that's about 53 to 73 Fahrenheit. We have had a few days colder than that, and we have had a handful of days warmer than that, but not very many. And so it's been overcast a lot. It's been quite windy. We're close to the coast where we are right now, and so a lot of the weather has looked kind of like early fall or late spring type weather that we would have in Canada, so that was a surprise. The second thing that really surprised us was the amount of cleaning that there is to do. There's so much cleaning. So I wanted to move into a smaller space and have less things so that I wouldn't have to clean so much and could spend more time with my family. And that definitely does happen. But if you're not very intentional with a cleaning schedule and a routine, then you're going to be doing nothing but cleaning, and entire days can go by with just cleaning. So we've figured out a routine that's working well for us. The third thing that surprised us that we didn't expect was how bored we are. We have definitely done a lot of sightseeing and a lot of fun things with the family, and there's been a lot of traveling and moving, and so the first, I would say, 6 weeks of our travel was really busy, and now that we're more stationary, we're finding that we get bored. And we also kind of got tired of sightseeing, so we kind of needed the downtime. So just balancing that has been really interesting. What we are learning is that whatever you would do in your downtime at home is what you're going to do in your downtime here. So if you're always on your phone at home or watching TV, you're definitely going to be doing a lot of that here while living in an RV or a camper as well. So we're quite intentional to balance the busy days and the down days, and try not to have too many down days in a row and not too many busy days, and then also throw in some cleaning days in there too. So a routine is really helpful with this, so that you don't just waste away and not really accomplish anything or do anything fun. The fourth thing that we did not expect was the frequency of mental breakdowns, and I am talking about myself mostly here, but my kids too. At home, every 2 or 3 months, I'd notice, a day or two where I was kind of off and just felt super overwhelmed and needed a bit extra personal development stuff to fill my tank so that I could get back to normal. And here, especially in the first month of traveling, I noticed that this was happening more like once a week. And then in the last couple of months, it's been about every couple of weeks. Every 2 to 3 weeks, I'm finding I just have a day where I'm just like, ah! Anyway, my family's very forgiving, so it's all good. But that surprised me at how frequently that changed. The fifth thing is the opportunity that we have for really intentional parenting and how much easier it is to do that when you're living in a small space like this. So we have way more one-on-one time to focus in on each child, and it just becomes really evident really quickly when you're living in such a small space what the issues actually are. You have to get to the root of the issues to actually deal with that. You can't just put out fires, or that's all you'll do. So we have found that we have been able to accomplish so much more with our kids and been able to come alongside them and help them work through things much more quickly than we would have at home. Mostly because at home we wouldn't have been so annoyed so frequently. But when you're living in such a small space, there's just always going to be someone bugging you, always going to be something inconvenient happening, something uncomfortable going on, extra noise. And so yeah, we have really seen the value in spending that extra time parenting, and it's really paid off. Number 6 is really similar to the last one, and that is that we've been able to 10x our personal development in the last 3 months. What I mean by that is that, like I said in number 5, because you're irritated all the time, and because there's constantly something falling out of a cupboard on your head or someone driving you nuts because you're in such a small space, it enables you to figure out what your triggers are and the triggers for the people around you really, really quickly. And then everybody works together to figure out ways to help each other, encourage each other, come alongside, and make things run more smoothly. And so we have all 6 of us, done really deep personal work to improve in areas that I believe it would have taken a lot longer to work on and improve if we had tried to do that back home. Number 7 is how expensive campgrounds are. We decided that we weren't going to go the route of paying, I think it was $1,000 or something, for discounts on campgrounds, because we didn't want to have to stay at specific campgrounds. We wanted the freedom of choosing our route as we went along, and the plan changed so many times. It's a really good thing that we did that. But campgrounds are, and this is in US dollars, typically we found between $50 and $70 a night. Some places are charging you extra per person after 2 people, and you can get a discount if you stay for a week or if you stay for a month, but we didn't want to stay for a month in any one place. So we found a few that were cheaper than that, and we also balanced it with boondocking some. And so that was just a huge surprise. By boondocking in the first 5 weeks, we saved easily $1,200. Number 8 is that we brought way too much stuff. We bought this camper a week before we left because we're building a bus at home and it was not finished yet. So we had to quickly switch gears. We bought this camper, we packed it and left. So I didn't really have a lot of time to be like, what should I bring? Or any of that. So it was really quick, and I found that we have cupboards that are not full. I thought we would be like bursting at the seams, but we're totally not. But we still brought too much stuff. Things that I wish we hadn't brought are things like board games. I know. I wish we'd only brought like 3 or 4 board games and not like 10. I just thought that on rainy days we would be doing so much more of that kind of thing, but really the kids have just been playing their musical instruments. They all play ukulele. We've been watching movies together, or we'll go for a drive on a rainy day, get our shopping and cleaning done, that kind of stuff. So far we haven't needed that as much. Also the toys, the clothes, I brought too much of all of it. So I really wish that we had brought less. Another thing that we brought too much of was the girls' personal things that they like their little collections or their little special things from home. I let them each bring a basket, but now that they've accumulated more stuff on this trip, we have nowhere to put it. So nowhere that makes sense anyway, or is easily accessible. I brought too many personal development books. I brought 2 baskets full, and they're beside my bed, and I have been reading some, but honestly, I think I brought 2 years worth. Number 9 is the volume level and having to make a rule about how much people talk and when. So when you're living in a small space and everybody's talking at once, it's usually fine. But if my husband and I are trying to have a conversation, or I'm trying to deal with one of the kids and talk them through something, and everyone's making a racket, we can't hear each other, and it's very distracting. So we have had to use one of the bedrooms or the bathroom, or send some kids outside, or make a rule that no one can talk until this conversation is done. I knew that it would be an issue, so it wasn't a huge surprise to me, but I think it was a surprise at how much of an issue it can be at times. Number 10 is how much closer I've gotten to my husband on this trip. I figured that we'd probably get closer because we were spending so much time together, but I honestly wondered if we'd end up driving each other crazy. And I mean, we've had our moments, but it's been a really beautiful thing to see us actually figure each other out a little bit more, and just both sides coming together to make things easier for the other person. And we've had some really neat date nights here in the camper because we can't drop our kids at a sitter, and we've had some really cool conversations and just really grown a lot closer than I even thought was possible in such a short period of time. So that's been pretty cool. Well, that's it for this video. If you liked it, please take a second and like it. Also subscribe, and if you have any questions or you have something you want to see in a future video, just put that down in the comments. Go here to see our RV tour, or over here you can go and see how we homeschool 4 kids in an RV. Thanks so much for watching.